never been a better time for Amiga than it is today. It might sound funny to say, but as I move forward, I think you're going to see what I'm talking about. We are going to change the world. We're going to do it in a mighty powerful way. And from the perspective of what it was back in the 80s, we're going to change it again. So with all that, where do we go from here? Now, those of you that know me know that I'm a Christian, and I do read my Bible every day. And it was interesting. The other day, I was reading in Corinthians, and at the same time I was reading, the article from the IEEE Spectrum came out. On the cover, the computer that wouldn't die. And that was quite an honor for us. But what was interesting is the impact it had surrounding Amiga that you guys are going to learn about. IEEE Spectrum, as you know, is pretty highbrow. The readership do read Mad magazines constantly. They don't want to admit that, but they do. But for the most part, these people are folks that we can all look up to from a technical standpoint. We normally get 800,000 unique visitors a month. 2 days after that article hit, suddenly our network began to slow down. We couldn't figure out what was going on. In the first 2 weeks of March, we had 2.6 million unique visitors hit our site. The only thing we can attribute it to is this. And at that same time, I was reading Corinthians, and this verse popped out, which I think this also reminds me of a T-shirt somebody has. And it's kind of interesting. It says, "And at that sound, the dead..." Whoa, we lost part of the verse. Don't you hate that? Basically, it says from okay, so for that translation. Basically, it says that at that sound, the dead will rise, and death will never have hold on them again, and we will forever be changed. And I could not find anything more apropos than that. When we set this thing forward, our idea was the home. I love this one. It's so convoluted and nasty with all these ugly colors. The fact is that the idea was Amiga on every different device. That's what the Amiga DE brought us. Portability across all these different platforms, multi-processors, etc. One of the things required in that model is a home server. Now, the idea initially when we went forward was to go ahead and take Amiga DE, put it on top, put AmigaOS on top of Amiga DE so you'd be able to run your classic apps on top of the original, on top of DE. We're going to create some Amiga PPC hardware, the Amiga 1. That would be a transition for you. What we found is DE does not, at this stage, really work well in a desktop environment. Memory protection is too hard for us to put in. Virtual memory support is not available to us because it was never, the kernel was never designed for that. So we sat back and we reevaluated our situation. Now, DE runs on 11 different operating systems currently, actually 12 now. Amiga is another operating system. What if we reverse this? And so we began talking to some partners out there and some individuals. And what we decided, actually interesting enough, what I learned tonight is Petra said in 1995. And that is we're taking the Amiga 1 and we're giving it, stall, a brand new operating system. We are porting native to the PowerPC.
Yeah. All right.
Clear that this is not us versus them, this group, this is that group. This is Amiga port to the PowerPC. We are working with our partners. Hagen Partners is one of those partners. We're working with Hyperion. They're one of our partners. We're working with several other people. One of them right now I want to bring up is our good friend Alan Redhouse with iTech, because he's got something he'd like to share with you. Oh, yeah, here's the other logo. I like this one, too. Anyway. Thank you very much. To get a native PowerPC, it's only a beginning. We've got 4.0 planned, 4.2, 4.5, and 5.0. All right? Now, since I have no clue what I'm going to be saying now, I'm going to read it from the screen, because somebody else wrote this for me named Fleecy. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take 3.9. We're then moving it to a native PowerPC OS. And I know I just said something wrong because Jurgen's got that look. No, I'm okay. All right. Just making sure because I don't want to do this on the roller coaster. We're just right now. The chain's just pulling us up. Okay. Maybe we'll do a couple of these, a couple of those, but no going to the valley. Really, it's in my heart for you. Okay. I did not. All right. The idea. What we're going to do is we're going to start with phases initially to move this over. So that from 3.9, we move to 4.0, getting us onto the PowerPC platform. We're going to add new functionality to improve, that made a lot of sense, add new functionality to improve the functionality and performance of the AmigaOS. He's a brilliant writer. At least he's not here, so let's slam him. Okay. Right, so what we're going to do is Fleecy. All right. Yeah. Easy mask. Oh no, foot now. Oh. Burn him! Burn him! But I digress. Alan, nice segue. That's right. We'll come about now and talk about business again. This is Alan Redhouse with iTech.